you're in the market for an overhead storage, I have one here from Fleximounts that I think is an excellent option. They make various different versions. However, this is the 2-tier setup, which is kind of unique because you can put a lot more stuff in the same space. My goal here today, I'll do a brief unboxing of this model here, then I'll also show you how you can very easily install this yourself in your garage at home. The model that we have here today is the Fleximounts GR38-2T, and what that means is there's 2 tiers to this. Unlike some of the other versions they make the single tiers as well, but this one's kind of unique how it has, the double tier there. The version that we have here today is the 3x8. They do make a couple other different sizes as well, and this one is capable of 1,000 pounds total, evenly distributed. So they're rating this as 500 pounds per tier, which is pretty impressive for an overhead storage. As we get it opened up, the first thing you're going to notice, it does come packed in here pretty well. And they do ship this model in 2 separate boxes because there is quite a bit of things in here. So here's just a picture of the racks there. So you're going to have 4 racks in this box and you have the other 4 over there. And in addition, all the other hardware in that other box as well. So we'll first get all 4 of these racks out of here. And we'll do the same thing over here on this box. So there's the directions, a couple more of these racks. And it does look like they got all of the hardware in here zip tied down so it doesn't get damaged during shipping. So we'll go ahead and get all this loosened up and we'll set this to the side here. Now that we have everything out of the box here, the one thing you're going to notice is all of this stuff is very nicely powder coated, and this is all steel. Every single one of these brackets that they use, including all the racks over there, this is all 100% steel that's powder coated. There are some cheaper versions out there from other manufacturers, but a lot of the stuff they use is plastic. So that is one thing I've been very impressed with some of the other Fleximount stuff I've used in the past. Everything is a good quality steel and it all has this nice finish as well. In addition, they do also include all the hardware over there, and we do have this installation template here as well. Moving on to the installation, there's a couple things that you need to make sure you get. So we're going to need a drill, 1164 drill bit to drill our pilot holes over there for our leg screws. In addition, they do also give you this little contraption here which you can use in order to tighten some of them. What I typically prefer in these is just to use a ratchet in a 13 mil socket, which will fit over those leg screws. And then in addition, a hex 5 mil here. That's what is going to be used here. Again, you can always use this stuff here as well that comes with it, but I think it just speeds up the process a little bit with this. But for sure, you're going to need to make sure you get a drill bit so you drill the pilot holes. So now we'll begin the process of putting this together. So according to the directions, the first thing they want you to do is these 4 posts on the outside. We want to assemble those. Once we get all that assembled, then we'll move on to some of this other stuff so we can make sure we get this installed correctly. So to get these posts installed, so the first thing you need to make sure you pay attention to is these ones that are angled. These are going to be the 4 corners. Then you got these over here that are going to be in the middle. And what you need to make sure is depending on the size or the drop that you want from your ceiling. So this model here is capable of 37 inches from the ceiling or all the way up to 69.5 inches. So depending on where you want that, just adjust those in there. So in my case, I'm going to put it somewhere in the middle there. Then when you get the height that you want, then we're going to take 12 of our A and 12 of the C and we're going to tighten these down. And then one thing you need to make sure you do here is the height that you have for each one of these brackets, you need to make sure they're all at the same height. So obviously you don't want to have that one 60 inches from the ceiling and this one 37. You need to make sure they're all the same distance on all 4 posts. So then after you have the height determined, we'll take our bolt and thread it in on the outside and take our locking nut. And we'll do the same thing down here as well. Then we'll go ahead and we'll tighten those up. And again, as I mentioned there before, you can use the included tool that they give you, but I'm just using a 13 mil here. So then just do that same thing on all 4 of the posts. Then we'll move on to installing the center here. And again, you're going to do a very similar thing where you need to make sure you align these to the same height as the bracket there. Then on these, you're just going to be using these same bolts. You're going to do the same thing. Put one up there, put one on the bottom. And just make sure when you install these that you can see this is the outside, so we'll make sure we put our bolt on the outside as well. So then just make sure you do the same thing on the other one. Before we attach the post to our ceiling brackets, we need to put these supports on both sides. Just pay attention. These flat ones here go for your middle piece, and these corner ones will go in your four corners. And just make sure when you're doing this that you're putting these all at the exact height. Obviously down here you're probably going to put that on the bottom, but up in the middle there, just make sure you put those at the same height on all four corners. So then once we have that figured out where we want those to go, simply take these here, and you can either tighten them down with this included hex key that they had, or I'm just again using a 5mm hex socket here. And then we'll do the same thing on the bottom. So again, line that up. Then we'll do the same thing on the middle piece. So again, those are lined up where we want them. So we'll flip that back around, then tighten these up. Then do the same thing on the bottom. Then once you verify those look good, just do the same thing on all the other posts. Then we'll go ahead and install them on the ceiling bracket. Next, we're going to be connecting our post to our ceiling bracket. And the reason why you're going to do this before you put it up there is because if you put this flush against the wall, it's going to be hard to get behind there and get some of these tightened up. Obviously, depending on your installation, you can adjust that one way or the other, and you can install them up there, but just pay attention to that. So in this scenario here, I'm just going to assemble all this on the ground here. So we're going to just put a couple of those same screws here. You're going to put one right here, then we'll get this on the top, and then we'll put our leg screw here, and we'll put a leg screw on the other side as well. So we'll thread this in on the back, and we'll tighten this down here. And we'll take this, and then we'll also tighten this down as well. And after you get those tightened down, just do the same thing on all the other posts. Then we'll go ahead and attach them to the ceiling. The first thing you want to do is kind of map out where you're going to install these. So as you can see here in my garage, these studs are exposed. If you don't have them exposed like this, make sure you use a stud finder. And you can either use the installation guide they have or just one of these brackets, but you want to first come up with a plan on where you're going to mount these. So we know we're going to mount ours like this. So we'll go ahead and we'll just make 2 marks. And we'll drill those holes out. Next, we'll take our bracket and we'll install the 2 legs on both of those studs. To get the other side installed here, all you need to do is just take a measurement from the inside here, 36 inches over here, make your mark and drill your hole, and likewise do the same thing over here. Then you can attach the bracket on this side as well. Alright, so then after you get that one installed, again, just make sure you're 36 inches in the middle here. and we'll do the same thing on the other 4 posts. Then after you get all 4 of your posts mounted up on the ceiling, next thing we're going to do, we're going to start putting together the platform so we can get those installed up here on our post. The first thing you need to do here is first take 2 of these, and you're going to have these included 5mm hex, and you're going to go through and you're going to tighten 1 here, 2 here, 2 more over there. Then you're going to take this bracket, and this is going to get installed here for the support in the middle. Now, very important, don't tighten these all the way. Just so first loosely connect these, then tighten this up all the way, then come back and retighten these to make sure everything's aligned. Then take this bracket and install it on this side, then do the same thing on the other side. And then we'll go ahead and tighten this side up as well. And after you get both of the sides tightened down, and go through here and tighten up these 4 bolts as well. Then just repeat that same process on the other shelves as well. Once you get them all prepped like this, then we'll begin the process of hanging them up on our post. Moving on to installing the shelves up here, just make sure you get each shelf put inside those grooves, then we'll fasten it down with another one of those 5mm bolts. Then take the 5mm here, and you're going to tighten down all 4 corners. Then just repeat that same process on the 2 in the back as well. And after you get both shelves installed, the last thing you need to do is just take more of those 5mm hex bolts and fasten the center on both this shelf and the one on the top. And there is going to be a total of 4 of these. Just make sure you put all 4 on both tiers. And the last thing on the installation here is just take these anchors and you're going to put it here. Just make sure you find a stud in your wall here. And that's simply going to push that against the wall just like that. Alright, so once that looks good, then just do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so once you're done with the installation of those wall anchors, you're going to notice it really does firm this up. It doesn't budge at all now with those wall anchors installed. So make sure you get those installed into a good stud like I showed you there, then you've completed your installation. Alright, well hopefully this video helped you out if you guys are in the market for an overhead storage. If you're interested in learning more or purchasing this Fleximount 2-tier that I have set up here, you can see the links in the description. I'll also put a promo code in there. You can get an additional percentage off, which I think is an excellent deal, especially for the price, because these are rock solid once you get them installed and you have endless option. As I mentioned there before, this can go all the way down to 69.5, all the way to 37. So you can adjust this based on the space in your garage. So if you're in the market, I wouldn't hesitate. Check out some of these Fleximount overhead storage. I think you might be surprised on how awesome these are, especially for the price. So hopefully this video helped you out. If it did, please give me the thumbs up. If you're interested in more content like this, please hit that subscribe. But again, I hope this helped you out and thanks for watching.